These are my 3D printed wind-up toys. I fully designed them, printed them, and brought them all to life. And today, I'm going to show you how I did it. But first, we have a package to open. This should be the wind-up toys. Okay, bro. Okay, so I guess for this we really only need one of them. Cool, there he is, one of our wind-up toys. He looks pretty great. So yeah, luckily for me, I found these ones on Amazon that are totally blank and ready for a new shell. I'll give him a test. Ooh, that's like ASMR, bro. Ready? Alright, it actually works a lot better than I suspected. Then he slowly runs out of steam. I love it. I thought it wouldn't really move forward. I thought the feet were gonna shake, but I didn't think it would actually move forward. So that's kind of cool. The shell, yeah, this might get a little complicated. I'm gonna have to make some plans on how I'm gonna turn this thing into my own. I think instead of dissecting this thing, maybe I'll plan what I'm gonna do. I actually don't know. Is it hollow? I don't know. Okay, I'll figure this out. I'm looking at the render I made here on my laptop, and now I've identified some changes I'm gonna need to make. First change I'm gonna need to make is their dogs are huge. Their feet are massive in the render, which looks adorable in the render, but there's not much room for them to actually move. And I don't want to limit the functionality of this thing actually walking, because then it just turns into like a toy with a wind. It kind of gets rid of the whole point of the toy. So I might be leaving the feet as they are in here. Thankfully they're already white, so I won't have to change much there. The second thing I noticed on my render, which is different to the toy, the actual mechanic itself is positioned here on the side of the toy, whereas in my render it's positioned on the back of them. Honestly, I don't think this is going to make that much of a difference. I'll just have to work with my model and see if I can figure that out, or maybe if I take this apart there might be a way I can reposition it. But honestly, again, I'm not trying to ruin the toy, I'm just trying to give it a new skin. So I'm going to go into Blender and make these changes real quick, and then I'm going to get to actually planning how we're going to reskin this thing. Hell yeah.
Several hours later.
Okay, so I fiddled with my model for a bit, and it's seeming like I'm not going to have very much creative freedom. Essentially what it's looking like right now is I'm going to have to print my version and then just put it on top, which seems kind of lame. Obviously, I was too scared to open this thing, but I wanted a little bit more freedom. So I've decided to put my fears aside, and we're going to be opening this. Okay. Is there like insides that I'm going to break, bro? I really don't want to do that. We're so close. Oh, it's off. Oh my god, I think I've... okay. Okay, there is a bar in the top of this, like this bar here, and that is what these pieces on the top here grab onto, and that keeps them on this. I don't know how well I'm explaining this. Truthfully, not explaining it very well. I went ahead and looked up a video about how these wind-up toys work because I wanted to be able to explain it to you guys, as well as wrap my own head around these things. I found this brilliant video by Toys and Game School explaining exactly how a wind-up toy works. He even takes one apart in the video, which is exactly what I needed. Essentially, that box I was showing you guys is called the gearbox. And the gearbox is what powers the legs to actually move in the toy. The gearbox rotates two... Are they called cuffs? what are they called? Cams? Cams is what they're called. The gearbox rotates 2 cams on either side which have off-center circles. This is what the legs are attached to, and this is what allows them to move. I'm still not 100% if that's how the toy works, but that's how I understood it. But now I've taken apart one of the toys and understand how it works, I had a decision to make. I was either gonna do A, print a casing that would sit over the top of the wind-up toys, which seemed to be the easier option of the two, or option 2, which would be cut it open and redesign a shell for it. Option 2 is obviously pretty ambitious, and I'm not fully confident I could do that myself, so I decided to start with option 1. I started this by making a series of cups. I wanted to make a cup that would fit over the top of the wind-up toy, covering up most of it. I added a slot on the side of the cups for the little wind-up on the side, and then I printed it in various different sizes. They were close, but they weren't as perfect as I wanted them. So I printed another batch, and while it was a little loose, it definitely gave me a better idea of what I needed to print. I then took this cup back into Blender as a size reference and began modeling my wind-up toy straight on top of it. I then used the Boolean modifier to make sure my models were hollow, and now they were ready for a test print. It was the first one I test printed, and it came out looking great. Now obviously he doesn't have his glasses, so he looks a bit strange, but it looks great. Okay, why is that like awesome? I then gave this a test by loosely resting my model on top of the wind-up toy, and voila! Oh, and here he is with his glasses. He looks a little bit less curved. After I got all the models ready for printing, I did some test prints which came out looking fantastic, and then I ordered the colored filaments I was gonna use. I could have hand painted these ones, but then I realized I have a multicolor printer, so why not? Anyway, the prints are here. They came out looking fantastic. The first one here, the green one with his hat. The second one, we've got Curio here, or Curie Kid, as SparkyFace5 said in our Discord, which, if you're not in it, you should totally join it. And last but not least, we had, oh my god, we had Curia. She's probably my favorite. The way she sits on the wind-up toy is perfect. Obviously, this is a test print. I didn't move the seam to the back, so you can actually see the seam line on her head, which is not ideal. And also the bow is white. If I printed that in multicolor, it was gonna add on an extra hour of print time, and I didn't want to do that. But as a proof of concept, she looks fantastic. Now, something you may notice about these models is they have quite a short wind on them. The wind on the side of them is still the same as it was, and it's tiny, to be honest. If you look back at the render, one of my favorite parts about it is the wind key. The wind key is in the shape of my character's eyes, and it definitely adds to the whole sort of wind-up toy aesthetic I was going for. But these don't. So the next thing I'm going to try and do, apart from reprinting Curia here, is to do the wind on the side of the toys. Yeah, so I did a few test prints of the wind key. I basically ripped it straight from the model, which I thought was going to be awesome, and it looked sick. I test fitted it and it looked great, but it introduces a new challenge. The key is actually not clearing the model, like it's catching on the arm, but it just means I'm going to have to rethink how the key is done. I actually already glued the models on top of the wind-up toys, so they're kind of like that now. I'm not going to make any changes to the models. I find that I keep blocking my camera by accident. It's really annoying because I have these awesome shots planned and I just ruin them. They all look pretty good. But the key will definitely need some changes. So I redesigned the wind. This is what it looks like now. It looks okay. It doesn't. Why does it look so ass, bro? I added a boolean onto it, 3D printed it. I guess I'll test print that. And it was perfect. So I glued those on, and that is the wind-up toys.